Hi there. If you're someone who you just feel like you want to work on your confidence, and let's say you're somebody who's gonna go to your first day of college, or you're someone who's gonna start like your first job, or you're an influencer, or you're an artist, or you want to sell a brand to someone, and you just feel like the confidence is something that you can actually work on more, or like put extra effort on, like being able to put your thoughts into action. The first thing you have to do is like to admit to yourself that you probably need to like put a little bit of attention to your confidence, and to like you have to work on it, or like you have to be open to the thought of like you having to improve this skill. Because the thing is, confidence is actually, it's not a personality. Because before I used to think that like people who are confident are just like, they're just born with confidence, and they're just like that's just their personality. But like after listening and reading to a lot of like podcasters, and like a lot of like people's opinions and perspective about this topic, I just realized that they all said that confidence is actually a skill. And the fact is, skills are like something that you can work on, or like train, or like put more effort into, to the point that you can be, to the point that you know to yourself that this is something that you're good at. So first things first, why are we not confident? Like what makes us feel anxious, or like awkward, shy, or like we just don't feel like the best about ourselves, and we always feel like we're gonna do mistakes, and all the other stuff that makes us self anxious. You have to get to like the root of it. Most of the time it's because you already have like the mindset of like, oh, I'm shy, or like I can't hold conversations with people, or probably you already had like a trauma of like talking to other people, or like talking in public conversations, and you feel like you embarrass yourself so much. And the funny thing is, no one actually cares, or like no one actually puts that much attention to like what mistakes you had, or like what mistakes you did in the past. And sometimes we just feel like it's awkward, or like it's embarrassing, because we tell ourselves that whatever happened back then, it was like so embarrassing, and people, every time they're gonna see you, they're just gonna laugh at you. But the thing is, people don't do that. Like people have their own things going on with their own worlds, and every individual in this world are only thinking about themselves, and no one's gonna be going on their day and be like, oh, I remember when this girl actually started when she did a presentation back when we were in high school. Like no one does that. So you have to get rid of the thought that you can't improve just because you already embarrassed yourself back then. Majority of the time it's because we already have this like negative mindset and negative self-talk, that we're not confident, like we're just up to this level, and then that's it. But the thing is, you should have the mindset of someone who's confident. Just like how they say that when people try to build different like versions of themselves, it's easier to say, like let's say you're a smoker, it's easier to adopt with the mindset of like, if someone offers you a cigarette, you're gonna be like, oh, I used to smoke, but like I'm trying to stop. That already like gives them the idea that, oh, this person's a smoker, she and or she is just trying to stop. But if you say that, oh, I don't smoke, you're already in that mindset that you're not this person, you're not this version. So it's also similar to like saying that I'm confident, like, and this is not embarrassing, or like nothing is embarrassing unless you make it embarrassing, like unless you yourself makes it embarrassing. If you don't make situations look like it's a big deal, people won't actually pay too much attention to it. Like the only thing that people would pay attention to is whatever you make a big deal out of. So you have to eliminate this negative mindset of like, oh, I'm shy, I stutter, I can't hold conversations with people. You have to admit to yourself that, oh, actually I do that to myself. And when you admit that thought, you can actually start on like changing your perspective and your mindset and how you view yourself. Because the moment you admit to yourself that you were actually talking negatively to yourself, that's exactly when you can change how you perceive yourself, how you talk to yourself. Because I read this quote that self love, positive mindset, and affirmations are actually very easy to apply to yourself because it's actually the same love that we give to like our partner, our family, our friends, people we cherish, people we love. And we just we just don't see the perspective where this love that we give to people we love or we cherish is actually the same love we should pour into ourselves, because that's what we call self-love, and you can never pour water from an empty cup, right? So by eliminating this negative self-talk and negative mindset, we can start with applying affirmations and self-love and positive self-talk, which I know it sounds so cringe and cliche, but the fact is when you start doing it, it actually works, and it actually helps you set up the mood for your day, or like the mood of like your vibe, the mood of like where you're going to. And it just like eliminates the fact that sometimes we overthink something to the point that we just end up not doing it because we think about it thousands of times before we do, or like before we say something, and then we come to a point like, okay, I'm just not gonna do it just because you thought about it so much, and then you're just like, ah, let me just not do it. I also have this quote from Euphoria where Maddie said that 90% of life is confidence, and the funny thing about it is that no one knows if it's real or not. And most of the time in life, people won't know if you're faking your confidence. People won't know if this is the first time you're actually pushing yourself to talk to someone new, or like to talk to someone you haven't met before. Because you can always fake it till you make it. And this is actually funny, but it actually works. Like literally people will tell you that I actually just fake it till I make it. Till I made it. But also, if you're like someone who already labeled yourself as like, oh, I'm an introvert and I just can't put myself out there, you can also start very little by little. Let's say you wanna try to hold conversations with people. You can actually start with like going with a friend, and you can just tell this friend, oh, I want to start like actually building my confidence, or like working on this skill for myself. So you can just talk to this friend, and you can probably like have like the similar goal for this day, and say like, oh, today in this event we're gonna talk to like 5 people, and we're gonna ask these 5 people, we're gonna hold conversation with these 5 people to the point that we can ask what their favorite color is. That can be like a very simple goal that can actually help you like do like little steps to your goal of like building your self-confidence. You don't have to like, you can't be like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be like 100% confident. No one in this earth is like 100% confident. And you can also like be reminded that like everyone has their insecurities, and nobody is perfect. Like if you see someone who you feel like, oh, this person is just so perfect, like she's just so confident, you have to think to yourself that this person actually probably worked on so much for themselves to the point that they're in this level of like being able to not show, or like not to make it obvious that there's something they're still insecure of. Second thing is the most popular thing that causes like insecurity and like the self anxiousness is that you feel like however you look, or like your physical appearance isn't good enough, like to the point that you feel like when you talk to someone they're just gonna judge you. But the thing is, it's because of like, if you look at social media and you compare yourself to whatever you see there, just remember that most of whatever is in social media is filtered. Everyone just want to show like the good things that's happening in their life, and you can never actually know that probably these people are also like experiencing like downsides of their life. But of course no one would post like downsides of their life. So you just have to remember that social media, everything is like very easy to edit. Even me, I sometimes I even edit myself. Let's say, for example, me, I do freelance modeling, and not all our photos are like raw. Like most of the photos are like edited. Like even if we have pimples or like something, our makeup doesn't look perfect, it's very easy to be edited. And for other girls or like other people out there to compare themselves like, oh, my makeup doesn't look that flawless, honey, it's filter, it's edit. And you can't expect yourself to look edited in real life. And people actually just love natural looking faces right now. Like this era right now, everyone is just so welcoming to the point that if you look authentic, if you look natural, if you look human, people just tend to divert their attention towards you just because it gives off this very wholesome, positive energy and just like loving and welcoming vibes. If you're using internet, just make sure that if you're looking at Pinterest, you're using this platform as an inspiration and not for something that you can compare yourself every day and feel so bad about yourself. If there's something physically about yourself that you feel like, "Ugh, I should work on this." Let's say you're just not confident with your body. You can actually start working out. And I'm not saying that if you don't fit the standards, you have to work out. No, if you don't feel confident with your own vessel, you have to work on it. You have to accept that this is something you have to work on. But if you feel confident with your body, with your vessel, and you feel like, oh, this is just not the standard. There's no standard. It's just the internet and social media trying to make everyone perfect. That's just not it. Like, if you already feel confident about yourself, no one can actually sway that thought as long as you ground yourself and you tell yourself that this is me and this is how I want to present myself. But if you're someone who feel like, oh, I really have to work on this, and once I work on it, I'm just gonna be a level more confident. Because me, for example, before, when I was like probably years ago, before I wasn't working out, I feel like the only thing that was like kind of holding me back was like I wasn't really confident with my own body. And I was like, what do I do? Like, how do I do it? I can't. I also like, personally, I just don't like the processing my body because I think I was like a little bit younger then. I think I was a minor. So I'm like, what can I do? So what I did was like, during the pandemic, I started working out every day, like inside our house. It doesn't have to be, you don't even have to start going to the gym. You can actually just start working out in your house. And after the pandemic, when I was like, oh, actually, this is actually something that's helping me mentally, and it's actually something that I wouldn't mind spending my time on. So after that, when we're allowed to actually go to the gym, I actually signed up and got a membership. And after that, I just like went working out 2 years straight. Then after already felt confident with my body, I just like relaxed and kind of like stopped. Not stopped. I was like, I'm in my maintaining stage right now. I already did bulking, cutting, and then now I'm just maintaining whatever my body already looks like. And the fact that I put a lot of effort into that, and I'm already like confident that, oh, this is something that I worked on and I actually deserve the fact that it helped me to be more confident. So if you're the type of person who feels like, oh, I actually need a rhinoplasty, just go and do it. If it makes you happy, just go and do it. No one would judge you 10 years from now and say, ah, she just did rhinoplasty just because she's confident. Like, people who talk like that are just people who's not worth your time, and people who's not like worth saying anything about your life, because in the end of the day, it's just you. Like, you just got you. So if you're not confident just because you're trying to please other people, it's not gonna work out. You're not ever gonna be confident. You're not ever gonna be able to be like, oh, I'm like confident enough to like put myself out there and talk to people. If you're someone who feels like, oh, I just want to do some surgery with my body, just go and do it. The third thing is, if you're someone who you're already, oh, I just know that I talk positively to myself. I don't really have any insecurities about my physical appearance, but you're just like kind of scared to talk to people when you're in a public or like social gathering. You have to have something that you're good at. Let's say you're an influencer. If you're confident enough that you know a lot about a certain topic, that would help with how you can carry volume with your conversations with people. If you're someone who loves working out like me, which actually helped me a lot with my confidence, if that's something that you want to focus on, just pick something that you can actually work hard on and you can build like your personality around it. That would help you be more confident about yourself, because you're going to be like, I know I'm good at this. I know when I talk to someone about this topic, I know whatever I'm saying has value. So make sure there's something that you're good at. And you can't just be like, "Ugh, I'm just not confident. Like, I did all of it, but you don't have anything you're good at." You can even be like, the simplest thing, you can be like, I'm good at editing my videos on TikTok. I'm good at like lip syncing. Like, it doesn't really matter. It can be like, I'm actually really good at like fashion, or like I'm good at being updated, being in trend, or like I'm good at photography, I'm good at drawing, art, music. Like it can be anything. Just make sure you have context as a person. And when you're in this social gathering, you have to remember that if you're a confident person, you have to tell yourself, I'm a confident person. And does a confident person shy away from eye contact? No. You have to be okay with eye contact. If you're in a formal, let's say formal social gathering, right? You have to be aware of your body language. You have to be aware of like, do I look mean? Do I have a resting bitch face? People on the internet just makes a resting bitch face like a flex. But in reality, if you have resting bitch face and you're not aware, you can actually lose a lot of like opportunities just because people will be like, I'm just not gonna talk to her because she gives off like very mean vibes. But if you're someone who's like okay with eye contact and you remember to smile, remember to like be aware of your body language. If you're are you standing so stiff, just remember to like relax so people can actually feel like, oh, I can actually approach this person. But if you want to be the if you see someone who you feel like can be a potential friend, or like someone who you just want to talk to this person, just remember that sometimes there are actually situations where you both are okay with eye contact, but you can just be staring at each other and you're gonna be like, but no one smiles. So remember to smile. You can always be the one to smile first, which gives you like already this very welcoming energy, to the point that people are gonna be what do you call it, magneted, is that a word? Gonna be like magneted to your vibe and your energy. If you're in a group conversation and within this group conversation you feel like you want to know more about a certain person, you have to always remember to listen very well. You have to be relatable, you have to be a little bit empathetic also. Just sympathize. This can help you for your next move. Let's say the group conversation already stopped and you still want to talk to this person. You can either, if you don't want to do it immediately, you can either like go to them and approach them, introduce yourself, make sure to have like a very smiley and welcoming energy. Introduce yourself. You can tell them that if this person is someone that you look up to, you can tell them that, oh, I actually watch your stuff, or like I actually listen to you, and you can say like compliment them, oh, I actually follow you and this stuff. And you can actually ask for their socials, just so when you feel like you want to meet them again, you can actually just shoot them a message or like a DM and say, oh, can we hang out? But if you want to hold a conversation right after this group conversation, you can just say, you can just like pick little details from whatever they were saying earlier and say, oh, I remember, oh, just when you said you like bikes, I actually also like bikes. Would you be interested in like going on biking? Something like that. Just something that would make this other person feel like, oh, she actually listened to me. Right? That's already like a very good impression of you. Another major thing about social gathering is you have to dress to impress. You have to add extra effort on how you look. Also extra effort on how you smell, of course. That's actually a very big aspect when it comes to like meeting people, because the first thing that people would judge you with is how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, how your physical appearance is, how your outfit looks. Sometimes people are just like, ugh, don't judge a book with its cover. But if you're someone who's trying to sell your brand or trying to sell your value to other people, you have to admit that how you look. I mean, there's a saying where they say you are addressed according on how you are dressed, which makes very good sense because I have been with a lot of people in the same room, and it's like the first time I'm meeting all these people, and everyone that looks so well dressed are mostly the individuals who people lean towards to. They're just like magnetic. So after I experienced that myself, I just told myself I'm never gonna be in any event and I won't feel confident about how I look, like how my outfit looks like. You have to be able to pull up there and you're already feeling good, like look good, feel good, right? So if you're someone who just have a very distinct fashion style and you're just thinking to yourself that, if I just dress like this, people might judge me. But the thing is, when you have like a very distinct fashion style, this can actually be like your bridge to like being someone known as like, I remember, like it's just like a trademark, right? So just don't be scared to be authentically yourself, because this can actually be the reason why people would know you. Like this can be like the reason why people would remember you, just because of like how you always dress yourself. Because I have a lot of like fashion like icons that I follow, or like are my mutuals on Instagram, and every time that I see outfits very similar to them, I'm gonna be like, oh, I remember this girl. So it's just like something that stays in my mind. And if you're just so scared of judgment, the world is too big for you to be able to please everyone. And you have to remember that if people are meant to be in your life, they're gonna be in your life. So you can only attract people who are meant to be in your circle. So just don't be scared to be very expressive. Last thing I have in my list when it comes to like social gathering, remember to always read the room. You have to like be aware of like how people are acting. Let's say you can't just walk into someone who's already, let's say someone's already eating, and then you're gonna walk in like, hi, introduce yourself and trying to start a conversation. You can't do that. You always have to be aware of like whatever this person is doing, or is this person welcome to hold conversations, or maybe this person is doing something. So you just so you can avoid like bad impression for the first time they're gonna meet you, just remember to read the room, body language, smile, positive like vibes. What else? Dress well, smell well, and remember that if you ever make mistakes in these conversations, like everyone does mistakes, and you can even laugh at yourself. So you can actually like laugh together with them if you make mistakes, just so it would feel like lighter for you, and it won't be so awkward. And these other people that's also there won't make a big deal out of it, just because they're gonna be like, it's normal, she also laughed at it. Also, don't forget to like be updated with trends, because most of the time when it's like social gatherings, like people talk about trends or like the latest news, or like latest topics, or like what's up with the world, and you're gonna make yourself awkward if you don't have anything to say about these topics. So just remember to stay updated with what's ever happening in the world, because this will help you to hold conversations with people. The last thing I want to talk about is that some people already tell themselves that I'm just an introvert and I don't need confidence. Like, I don't need to talk to people. But the thing is, as much as you can stay connected to people, access won't be denied from you. But you can't just be, oh, I have access, but you're not well connected to people who can actually give you access or like opportunity. So your access will just go to waste. Like literally influencers, or like people that I know that are very successful, and let's say they can just, if they want to be in this magazine, if they want to be like someone who blows up well on YouTube, or like there's just like, you just feel like this person has all the connections they have. It's because they stayed connected. It's not just that they have access, because in life, like I said earlier, if you're someone who is starting college, if you're someone who is trying to sell your value or like your brand to people, you have to remind yourself that you can't. I know people who are introvert but still are selling brands. Like I have friends who are like independent artists, and they're still very well connected, and they just build this very good bond and connection with people that can give them opportunities, or like people who can give them like a helping hand, just because they remember, they always put an effort on like staying connected, and all these access are just always open for them. So yeah, that's basically it for this video, and I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.